Okay, Bismillah. This shall be a few-part series into the unity of becoming. This is a short book that I wrote concerning the nature of human consciousness, the human life, and the complete path to realize and embody and live the truth of the oneness of being. This is therefore the second book in the ontological series, which concerns the psychological, the ethical, the teleological, the spiritual and mystical dimensions of the oneness of being, which is that system of all things, the theory of everything, concerning the ultimate vision of reality as it emerges from absolute oneness, which is God, which is what we mean by God. The vision that in the beginning is an absolute, irreducible foundation, which is being itself, which is being as absolute oneness, and oneness is being, as absolute consciousness, absolute being, absolute bliss, absolutity itself, infinity, that this seed, this central point, which is what we mean by God, the oneness of being, that is the absolute origin and center from which all things, the human being included, emerge like a flower coming outwards, efflorescing. Now, this is a synthesis of everything human, all human dimensions, whether it be the meaning of life, how to live, how to attain deep knowledge, self-mastery, how to completely actualize oneself, discover the depths and mysteries of oneself, to know oneself, and to attain to complete spiritual enlightenment. That is what we mean by the unity of becoming. For your self-becoming, which is everything that you are, your breath, your word, your action, your living, day by day is a becoming. That this becoming, which is yourself, should be in unity and harmony and oneness with being, with God. That is the singularity of experience, which is what we mean by enlightenment. Now, this book is written in both English and Arabic. It is available online for you to read if you would like. I will focus only on the English parts. We will go through 4 sections. We will have 4 videos, therefore, and each one will be very brief, very powerful, and very quick and terse. So it will require great effort, great concentration, study, and embodiment on your part as a viewer. The structure shall follow the scheme of ontological logic, which I have explained previously. But to quickly review that again, it is the description of the natural flow of being from itself. Right? By ontological logic, we are not talking about a logic which we as an observer impose upon reality, but we mean that logic of reality itself, not description, not describing the way things are, but allowing reality to articulate itself as it is. So this is a complete paradigm shift. This is not a description or observation of reality as we observers looking onto it in a self and object duality. The starting point here is unity. Unity with the experiential ground of being itself. For that being is this, and everything which you see around you is this, that it begins in a hidden seed, which has within itself the capacity for itself flowering. The seed then erupts forth from itself and gives rise unto the generations of its structure. All of being is that. All being, all reality, all existence, every structure, be it physical or metaphysical, biological, cosmological, whatever order of being you see it upon, whithersoever you look, you shall see this emanation, this growth, this efflorescence, this explosion of being into manyness from oneness. Three parts: the principle, the ground, the essence. That is the source. That is the meaning, the idea which exists like a seed under the soil in a state of latency, which then grows out from itself. The principle grows in a process of generation. That generation folds back upon itself. So it generates the generation. It branches, but the branch splits, and each branch which splits becomes itself a new growth. So it fractures out like a tree. That is all things. That is why we speak of the tree of existence, the cosmic tree. Everything that you see around you has this tree-like structure. Everything which you see is a tree which grew out from a seed, which, like a fractal, recursively folding in upon itself, generated itself. Everything that you see is thus. Of course, this requires insight. It requires deep, deep insight. It requires years and decades of work to understand the structure of reality. But reality does have a structure, and it does have a science to explore it. And what I have explained to you now is not something new. In fact, if you go deep into metaphysics, any metaphysics of a true and genuine tradition, you shall find this ontological logic, whether it be represented in mythopoetic symbol or an abstract metaphysical language, yet shall it be, and it is for you to discover. Thus we have the three principles. In the very beginning is the microcosmos, all three in one. That's chapter 1. The ground of being, the overall big picture of reality, a complete synthesis from a top-down perspective. This shall be everything. And then you have the three principles emanating from that. Meaning, generation, structure. Right? There's a principle, there is a seed. The seed of your being is what we call spirit. The singularity of your being, that central point from which you came out of, that is spirit. Now that generation of that singularity, the ontogenesis, which gave rise unto that being which now we call you as a fully developed person in body, in mind, in character, in life, in memory, the process of that generation we call soul or also mind. You see? For the spirit breathes spiration, that breath of the spirit, which is the outward emanation of multiplicity flowing out from unity, the efflorescence and emanation of forms coiling out from singularity. That breath is the mind, it is the soul, it is this breathing, which is not only a physical breathing, but is a deep pulsation at every level of your being, not only biological, but in your inmost substance. There is a breath, an expansion and a contraction, a pulse, an undulating presence. Again, this is an insight, is it not? There's something to discover, something for you to discover. But I'm giving you here a map, a top-down map of everything and your being. Spirit breathes. Seed cracks open, fractures, grows. Spirit, mind, the crystallization of that growth. As the tree is the end result of the process of fracturing apart and generating, self-generation upon self-generation, the end point, the complete totality of crystallization, of generation, of emanation as it completes, that is called body. And I mean not only the physical body of your being, but also the body of your mind. I mean the body of your memories. I mean the body of your soul. I mean your body in every sense. This being that we see in front of us, the body of your character, the body of your personality, because all of these things are structures which have come to be. That, therefore, is the complete diagram of the self, in 4 parts. That is the meaning, to know thyself. That is the necessity of having the diagram and the map. For if spiritual realization it is that you would like to pursue, then you must have the entire vision within you. For only he that knows shall know, and he who knows not shall never know. Does that make sense? Or not? How can you come to know if you do not know already? There's no room here for stupid people. There's no room here for blind people. There is no room in the palaces of God for ignorant people. You must purge yourself of every ignorance which you have created. In doing so, you will be enlightened, will you not? If you are cleansed of ignorance, what remains? Self-knowledge. If you empty your mind of all illusion, what remains? Truth. After you cleanse and purge yourself of everything that it is that you think that you know, in this holy, hallowed emptiness, like the fertile presence of the womb, you shall be ready to receive the spirit of revelation, which is the source of all wisdom. For that wisdom, that truth, that knowledge shall emerge out from the mouth of God, shall it not? From the breath of God and his emanation it must emerge. But does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what God means when he speaks about his own breath? Are these mysteries heard inside of yourself? That's the question you should be asking. Can you see beyond me in this video? Can you? Can you literally see that I am nothing, that you can hear words, that you can read words, and not understand anything about me whatsoever, but read your own soul? Can you do that? If you can, you shall be ready to proceed.